Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Utah Senator Mike Lee, a key member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and the ranking member of the Senate Joint Economic Committee. Senator, it's great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
First, your reaction to the Inspector General report on January 6th.
Look, the Inspector General report confirms what a lot of us wondered for a long time and what we repeatedly questioned Christopher Wray and other FBI and DOJ officials about, which is whether, to what extent, there may have been government assets on the ground involved in what happened on January 6th, 2021. They dissed our questions. They refused to answer them. They neglected them. And then a lot of people, including the Huffington Post, including Liz Cheney, called those of us who were asking the questions nutcases, claimed that we were crazy for even asking them. Well, now it appears we weren't so crazy after all. We had perfectly legitimate reasons to ask the questions, and the questions are not what Liz Cheney and the Huffington Post wanted us all to suppose.
Yeah, let's look at that tweet, because Liz Cheney tweeted at you in the middle of it all when you questioned whether or not the FBI had secret people in the crowds. And we don't really know, what those people were doing. But here's the tweet from Liz Cheney. Hey, Mike Lee, heads up, a nutball conspiracy theorist appears to be posting from your account when you posted that you wanted to know more about who was in the crowd and whether or not anyone was from the FBI. Now, they've been talking about a potential pardon, a preemptive pardon for Liz Cheney. Does she need to be pardoned for some reason?
Look, I don't know. I can't know what she knew at the time. But what I do know is this. It's very strange that she would call people who are raising these questions nut jobs, nut cases, whatever it is that she wanted to say, when she herself, as a member of this January 6th investigative committee, had access to a lot of information. This begs the question, did she know, in fact, that what Mr. Horowitz put out recently in the Inspector General report, did she know this already? If so, why was she out there calling into question the sanity of anyone even raising the question? As far as these preemptive pardons go, it really is interesting how many people are put on this list. It makes me wonder whether that's actually going to happen or whether this is sheer speculation. But if it's not speculation, who else is on the list? I would really like to know that.
Well, did she destroy evidence around the January 6th happening?
What I do know is that after the Democrats lost the majority, when the new majority came in and they started looking for documents, there was a bunch of stuff missing. As far as who may have destroyed what, I don't know. But this does make me wonder what role she might have had in it, as well as other members of the committee.
All right, let me move on to the agenda, Senator, because I know that there is a debate right now in terms of how to put everything forth. You are planning a reconciliation bill in the first 100 days, is that right, to be passed before April 30th, which will include the border, energy, and defense. Can you walk us through that, and why isn't the extension of the tax cuts in there?
Well, look, we do plan to get to the extension of the tax cuts. There's a fair amount of technical work that has to be done in connection with the extension of the tax cuts, as well as advancing other priorities of President Trump in the tax code, like no taxes on cash tips for servers and so forth. And so the thought is we can do two in a year. We plan to do both of those next year. But the first one, involving securing additional funding for border security, possibly some defense spending, while simultaneously providing what are called pay-fors, offsets to any spending, will also be in the package, perhaps with something advancing other causes like permitting reform and so forth, if we can get those in there. But these are important and possible for us to enact within the first few months.
But is there any chance that a second reconciliation bill fails later on in the year and then the tax extension doesn't get done?
No. Look, we're taking that off the table. That's not even a possibility. We're not going to allow that to happen. This is going to get done. Now, we are going to have to walk and chew gum at the same time, because we've got both the legislative agenda. We've also got to get President Trump's nominees confirmed in the first few months. But President Trump has made clear he wants us to pass that first package. in the first quarter of next year, and we look forward to doing that.
We know that in President Trump's interview with Time Magazine of Person of the Year, he did say that the economy was a big factor. However, the bigger factor was the border. I understand you do not have the votes on the Democrat side to just do a plain border bill. You'll need the reconciliation package to just have to push that through the majority, right? You don't have the votes on the Democrat side to push through a border bill without reconciliation?
That is our assumption, and likely correct based on what's happened over the last 4 years, as you've seen Democrats kicking and screaming whenever asked to actually enforce the border. Now, what they pushed as a border bill would not, in fact, have tied Joe Biden's hands. It would not have, in fact, required him to start enforcing the border laws that we already have on the books. But as far as actual border security, we believe we will not have Democrat votes on that.
And do you believe $100 billion is the number? Is that what you've agreed to in terms of the border bill money that you need? Is it $100 billion?
I don't believe it's quite that high, but it could be 85, 90 billion, something along those lines.
Okay, Senator, we'll be watching your work. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.